Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Dr. White and Liat, fellow Martians of Earth and other planets, from whichever part of the world or galaxy you are stationed. You global listeners from near and far are currently tuned into Bob's Balance Group Think Tank. Today's session is on why us Martians continue to find it challenging to think, feel, and see the same way. Yep, indeed, one size does not fit all. Today's guests are going to give you an example of the challenges of teams working together across cultural and geographical borders, or as the Texans would say, real Martian madness. And a welcome to all of our distinguished guests. We are joined today by Mustafa from India, Lamia from Africa, Fatima from Dubai, Bridget from Germany, and Warapun from Bangkok. So why don't we start by asking you to tell our listeners about the experience you had with being part of a global work team. Let's start with you, Mustafa, given you were one of the project leads.
Sure, thank you, Bob, for inviting us here today. For those of you who have friends, family, or colleagues from the subcontinent region, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan, the Maldives, Afghanistan, or Iran, you would be familiar with the expression, same but different, isn't it? This is often used by cabbies or salesmen. He wants to sell genuine fakes to tourists in Asia or Middle East. You understand, right? But even though we all have global language, English, word mean different thing to different people, isn't it?
Right, seems pretty logical, given we all speak different languages or are raised in different cultures.
You are right, Bob. And although it would be common sense, it's hard to comprehend to what extent the same word can take on vastly different meaning to people of different cultural backgrounds, until, like in our example, it slaps you smack bang in the face.
Bridget, do you care to elaborate?
Well, Bob, my very first experience of being part of a real international project team, where my colleagues were based in different countries on all 6 continents, including the Middle East and Africa, the Americas and Europe, and in the Asia-Pacific, was a real reminder to me that I had much to learn. Even my colleagues, who were native English speakers, found it very challenging, and of course my vocabulary was far less sophisticated than those colleagues. But some of the other team members' repertoire and understanding of how to use words and apply them in different contexts was very impressive. Barapun, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, the main point is that the selection of words was key in this project, which was to develop a global brand campaign to increase sales in 40 plus countries. We had people from Singapore, Korea, China, Japan, Paris, Germany, and Russia on the team. At the start, what appeared to be a major advantage within the team ended up being the major obstacle. The non-native speakers were the ones coming up with the big ideas. They came up with the campaign tagline, which everyone on the project team loved.
So after months of hard work and deliberation, the global team completed the campaign, right?
Exactly right, Bob. At that point, everyone felt confident that we had nailed the concept, and the channels for our dissemination, and that sales would in fact go through the roof. But unfortunately, we were wrong. All 25 people on the project team, wrong. The global creative agency that we used, also wrong.
How did you come to know it at that particular time in the project's life cycle?
Answer this, Bob. Actually, we all agree on tagline which we thought support campaign nicely and help with sell. You understand? If you see promotion for a quality flying experience every time fly Emirates, you want to get wallet and buy plane ticket. No, Bob? But meaning of word quality same, different, you understand? See, when we present campaign to Big Boss in Asia, he say, why you use wrong tagline? We say, we don't use wrong thing. But we're all confused about that, Bob. Then we understand. This is no good, Bob. Senior Vice President tells us in tagline have a different meaning in Asia. So he no approve our campaign. He tell me campaign not work in Asia.
Ooh, that's gotta hurt.
Yes, because the senior executives in the Middle East, the Americas, in the Europe, loved the campaign. He decided in the end, however, not to roll it out to the market until we've gone back to the drawing board and developed a campaign that all stakeholders were very happy with.
Wow, that's a good reminder to us all about the challenges we need to be cognizant of when working across geographical and cultural borders. And now, for one of our think tank regulars, Professor Carl. Welcome.
Thank you, Bob. It's always great to be here.
Now that you've had a chance to both talk to the team off-air and listen to today's story during the session, are there any lessons that we can take out of this specific scenario and apply it to our own work environments?
I would like to discuss 3 important elements of creating great virtual teams that actually translate well into creating a great overall team. The first concept involves understanding how great teams communicate within the group. I can think of 3 specific areas where our team struggled in developing a vision that encompassed the needs of all parties. The first issue was that of clarity, where there was a lack of understanding the cultural context of the client and region where the solution would apply. Second, there was clearly an accuracy issue where contextual facts were not considered. Finally, completeness was a problem because the solution was not thoroughly vetted during the design phase to ensure the slogan would not be misinterpreted. The second concept concerns how great teams make great decisions. There appears to have been a gap in understanding that a key data point was the cultural context of the slogan, which was a fatal flaw. There could have been a sub-team created to study the exact topic to reduce exposure for the solution. Basically, this team lacks some formalized process to dedicate resources, build a complete case, and create gateways for validating the correct decision. The final problem for the team involved selecting the right team members for this project. This team had great diversity and a broad geographic reach, but lacked at least one member who had the cultural context of the client. The team would have certainly benefited from having members who could represent each of the culture of the clients they would be serving.
Great. Thank you, Professor Carl. And a big thank you to all our guests today, as well as our faithful listeners at home.